Oh, because it's muted.
All right, so we are back. This is the absolute worst it's ever been. So we're on a third backup setup right now, streaming off of a laptop because we have a desktop that refuses to go above 1 megabyte per second for upload speeds.
So if you guys know what fixes that, let us know.
Yeah, we have no idea what's going on.
Because it's the only computer that has that problem right now. I don't know what's going on.
It's been a rough day. We basically went and got a 50-foot Ethernet cable to fix it because we thought it was a Wi-Fi card issue. Got that plugged in. Sure enough, that wasn't the problem. Just a million different problems. So it's pretty annoying. But hey, we're here. We're going to read you some creepypastas, and we're going to go ahead and do another intro because we need a clean one because the original one wasn't clean. So,
okay, cool.
If you see us looking down, it's because that's where our chat is. It's also because that's where our monitor is. So that said, I kind of want to adjust this camera. So let me go ahead and do that. And maybe it'll look just slightly... Maybe we have one thing look slightly better.
It's too low, right?
I mean, there's a million problems with it. I don't know what too low means, but... We're not centered in the frame. It's like cutting off the top of our heads. There's a million problems.
That's what I'm saying. It's too low.
Okay, apparently that's what too low means. Is that better?
Sure.
Is that what too low meant?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So we need to look up there because that's where they are. And
That'd be so far.
Yeah, this is going to be weird. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start it over. I'm going to mark it and take it from the Tiz app. Robin, go ahead.
Hey there, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Pastatime with the Scaryish Podcast. I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And every week I forget what we're called. We are here to read you folks some creepypasta. Creepypastas are...
Oh, you're pitching it to me.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Creepypastas are the wonderful short fictions that have been written on the interwebs that are horror-themed. At least we think they're fiction. Who really knows? But you can find them in places like Creepypasta, SCP Foundation, No Sleep subreddit, and a zillion other places, including sometimes from our very own Spooky Friends community.
Yep.
We're going to be reading several of them for you tonight, and I'm pretty excited to get this thing started. So, Robin, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
All right, so the first one I'm going to read here is called The Land Where Nothing Grows by R.M. Staniforth. And it's kind of long, but hopefully you guys will hang out with us.
This is one of the longest ones we've ever read.
It is not, actually. But, all right, let me get to it. So, it begins. I grew up on a small town ranch in the Midwest region of the United States on land that has been passed down in my family for several generations. It can be brutal out there with hot, dry summers that threaten to suck every last drop of moisture from you and unforgiving winters that trap everything outdoors in a deathly freeze.
Sounds hot.
That sounds like where you grew up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Despite all that, my family worked hard to make sure that our needs were always met and that the crops survived. Mom and Pa were two of the hardest working people I've ever known, and they were strict to keep the work going. Most rules that my mom and pa were strict about were simply a means to survival, such as stay indoors when a blizzard is coming, staying away from the rocky areas where the rattlesnakes hide, always keeping water on you during the summer months, etc. There was one rule, however, that stood apart from the rest. If we ever so much as considered breaking that rule, there would be hell to pay.
You don't talk about Fight Club.
If that were the case, there would be no other rules other than not talking about Fight Club, which you would be breaking right now because you're talking about Fight Club.
Well, I'm not in Fight Club. I'm allowed to talk about it.
That one rule was that we must never, under any circumstances, go anywhere near the land where nothing grows. The land where nothing grows was a perfect circle in the southwest corner of the wheat field. The golden fields of endless wheat ended abruptly exactly where the circle started, as if the crops were scared to go even a single inch over that line. The circle had a circumference of about 100 feet, with crops growing around it in a perfectly curved line. We call it the land where nothing grows because the circle is just that. Nothing ever grows in the circle, not so much as a common weed. Instead, the barren circle consists solely of dried brown dirt with cracks forming small crevices about. All right, fancy words, but all right. Now, it may sound like just a dry patch of dirt, but there was something more than that to this land. The land where nothing grows had an ominous and tantalizing presence about it that raises the hairs on the back of your neck. It feels almost as if it somehow stares at you, gloating about its impenetrability, while daring you to explore your curiosity. Old wooden fence posts stood around the land where nothing grows, rotting away, but still holding the strands of rusty barbed wire that encircle the land where nothing grows. My granddad had built the fence some decades ago to keep the animals out, and more importantly, to make sure we could still see where the circle was when crops died off and the ground became covered in soft white snow. We were forbidden to go anywhere near that rickety old fence. Even Pa only goes close when it's absolutely necessary. When I was young, I didn't question why we weren't allowed to go near the land where nothing grows. As I grew older, however, I found myself questioning why nothing grew in that circle. I still remember the day I gave in and approached the land where nothing grows. I was 12 years old and had taken on a lot more responsibility for the farm chores than I had in previous years. I could feel a pit somewhere deep in my stomach as I approached, but I swallowed my fear to satisfy the increasing nag in my mind to understand the circle. I needed to know answers. Everyone needs to know answers. I needed to know answers to questions I couldn't quite formulate, and something told me that the land where nothing grows could tell me those answers. As I approached, everything else around me seemed to fade. The sound of the breeze fidgeting with the wheat was no longer audible, and complete silence fell all around me. It was just me and the circle. Everything else faded into a gray blur in my peripheral. I reached out and touched the fence post, my eyes fixated on the center of the circle where the whispers seemed to come from. I didn't hear the whispers, but I could somehow feel the whispers in my mind. Come to me, boy. Come to me and understand. Allow me to show you, young boy. As I reached to put my hand on
Totally a normal thing to hear.
People don't call you young boy all the time?
I get called young boy every day.
I'm pretty sure I always tell you, come to me, boy.
Oh my God.
I have my paddle waiting too. As I reached to put my hand on the other side of the barbed wire, I was suddenly thrown back into the wheat by a strength that I had not expected. The force pulled me backward by my collar, dragging me through the wheat and soil for several seconds until I was released. As I scrambled to get my boots under me, I looked up to see Pa standing over me. I braced at his stature, expecting a spanking at the very least, just like Adam.
Wow, I fucking knew you were going to do that.
Instead, he crouched down in front of me, putting a shaking finger in my face. Look at me, son, he said in his deep, gritty voice. I looked up at him, looked him right in the eye, ready to own up to my disobedience. Only the look in Pa's eyes wasn't the look of anger that I had expected. It was much worse. What I saw in his... I don't know why that voice came out. What I saw in his watery brown eyes was the expression of deep-rooted fear, something I had never seen from my father. He paused as he struggled to find words and choked back tears. His hands started shaking worse as his eyes stared into mine, and guilt found its way into my soul. Never go near that circle again, son, you hear me? You stay away from that goddamn fence, he finally said. He grabbed me and pulled me into a tight hug, his hand pulling me in by the back of my head. The next words he whispered I'll never forget. I almost lost you, boy. Everything dies in that godforsaken land.
It's pretty intense. This reminds me of one of those stories that I actually did about like a Russian UFO and like where it supposedly landed, like nothing's ever grown there since, in the middle of the forest. Do you remember this one? That's a no, everyone.
No.
Okay.
After that day, I kept even further away from the land where nothing grows. Even as the presence of the land grew more taunting with every year I aged, it stared at me, even from a half-mile away. It called to me, alluring me to visit its old, rotten fence. One day, when I was 14, a severe windstorm tore through the town. We all bunkered down in fear of a tornado. I still remember listening to the creaks and groans of the house as it stood in defiance against the winds, and I was scared it would fall over. Nonetheless, the house stood strong, and sometime late in the night the winds subsided. I woke the next morning, still on the sofa next to my little sister, who fell asleep grasping my hand. My dad was quietly putting on his boots by the door. "Come on, son," he said. "We gotta go check the damages." "Sure. All right."
Why does that make you say sure, all right? Also, hang on, pause. We have a very limited amount of space to sit in. So sit up straight and sit next to me.
I don't wanna.
She's like sitting with her like leg tucked under. Her knee is all the way out into my side, which is creating all this empty space between the two of us. And she's, of course, doing her thing where she leans off camera. Whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want. I give up. I've had enough today.
I softly set my sister's hand down, and after putting a blanket over her, I grabbed my boots and hat, following Pa out the door. I went around to the back of the house where an old tree had fallen, missing the house by no more than a truck's length. Okay. I was trying to think of, trucks come in different lengths, so, what kind of truck? Was it like a Tacoma?
Let's just keep moving.
As I broke the branches away from the window, which had cracked but thankfully not shattered, I heard the moan of one of the dairy cows. Moan or moo? It wasn't a typical moo you'd hear from a cow. Oh, thanks for letting me know. But a moan of pain and desperation. I ran out to follow the desperate cries of the cow, only to quickly realize where she was. She had wandered into the land where nothing grows. The storm must have knocked over that rickety old fence because only half of the posts remained standing. Old Diane, a 3-year-old cow who had just given birth 6 months prior, lay inside the circle thrashing about and moaning in agony. Unable to get back on her feet, her enclosure... Fuck. I read that all wrong. Lay inside the circle thrashing about and moaning in agony, unable to get back on her feet. Her enclosure had broken, spooking the cows every which direction, and that poor girl had walked right into the land where nothing grows. I ran to get my Pa. I dared not go after Diane, but I knew that Pa would know what to do. I ran out to the barn where he was already at work patching a hole. As I told him what had happened, I saw sorrow come over his face and a wrinkle creased in his brow. We hopped in the old pickup and quickly drove out to the land where nothing grows. When we got there, Diane's condition had grown horrifyingly worse. The flesh looked as though it was rotting off in front of our very eyes, exposing her bones and muscle. Her eyes had glazed and blackened as she still gave feeble but excruciating moans for help. Pa wasted no time as he jumped from the truck with his hunting rifle in hand. He took one knee and quickly found his aim. A single shot rang out across the fields as the bullet pierced through the old cow's skull. He obviously wasn't going to throw away his shot.
Wow.
Her head hit the dirt and her painful cries stopped. Complete silence fell, and Diane was thankfully out of her misery, having fallen victim to the land where nothing grows. You see, everything dies in the land where nothing grows. Without saying a word, my Pa got right back in the rusty red farm truck, and we drove straight to the shed to collect new fence posts and barbed wire. The fence wasn't about to rebuild itself, after all. By the time we arrived back to the land where nothing grows, Diane's body was gone, completely vanished. "Is that what happens when something enters the circle?" I asked Pa. "I've only seen it happen a few times myself," Pa said with a stone face as he lit a cigarette. What? Okay. Why has he got to do that? Why has he got to be so cool?
Are you going to lecture him about smoking right now? The dude has a dead spot in his land where nothing grows. And he can't call it the dead spot. He has to call it the land where nothing grows, which takes so long.
I know. It's different every time, but it's always painful. Only thing that's sure is that everything dies in the land where nothing grows. I grabbed one of the wooden-handled shovels, ready to start digging holes for the new posts, but Pa grabbed
the shovel. Is a shovel like a shovel?
That's what I said! I fucking said shovel! You fucking bitch. I grabbed one of the wooden-handled shovels, ready to start digging holes for the new posts, but Pa grabbed the shovel from my hands before I could take a step. Get the hell out of here, son. This is my job, Pa said with his cigarette hanging from the corner of his lips. So it's more like, get the hell out of here, son. This is my job.
No, that's not exactly how that works, but...
I don't even know.
You talk normal with a cigarette hanging out of your mouth.
I objected, but one stern look shut me right up, and I set off to make sure the rest of the cows were gathered. I watched him from a ways away, though, as he built a new fence several feet back from the old one. Every move looked painful. I could see as he struggled against some unknown force to keep focused on the job, profusely wiping sweat from his brow until a newer, stronger fence encircled the land where nothing grows. Something changed in my Pa that day, something I can't quite explain. From that day on, his face seemed more wrinkled, his shoulders slightly hunched, and his eyes became distant. Every step he took looked heavier, and he smiled less. The next 4 years were not kind to Pa's mental state. He started forgetting things, not eating as much, and smoking a hell of a lot more cigarettes. Just stop. Gotta quit, man. Gotta quit while you're ahead. He'd go to milk the cows even though he'd done that just hours before. One day he even asked us where the hell one of our dogs came from, even though we'd had that dog since he was a pup. I'd catch him completely zoned out and staring out in the distance, out towards the land where nothing grows. You could talk to him, and it was like he never heard it. We begged and pleaded for him to take a step back from the farm duties and get more daily rest, but the stubborn old man refused to allow us to take any of his responsibilities from him. He insisted that he was fine, even though we knew he wasn't. When I was 18, Pa disappeared. I found that old truck near the wheat field with the door open and the engine running, but he was nowhere to be found. We searched all day, worried that he'd had an accident or medical emergency, but the search was for nothing. Finally, as the sunset cast its brilliant orange across the fields, illuminating the golden wheat, I noticed his boot prints walking away from the truck. Those prints led straight into the land where nothing grows. Everything dies in the land where nothing grows. Even though there was no body to bury, we held a service for him at the cemetery next to the small white church. I'll never forget when my uncle, my dad's younger brother, grabbed me by the arm. He had those same deep brown eyes that my dad had. "You're the man of the house now, son, you understand?" he told me in a tone that was both stern and gentle. "But you're gon' fuck? You're gon' fuck? But you're gonna be all right now, hear me? Your old man taught you right. You'll know what to do, son." 11 years later, I still managed the Moore family farm. I proudly kept it up just as well as Pa did. My sister got the hell out of Dodge the day she turned 18 and headed to the city. Hell, I can't blame her for leaving this aging town. I'd be lying if I said it hadn't crossed my mind. I'd be lying if I said it hadn't crossed my mind a time or two, but somebody had to keep the farm going. As Pa always said, money don't grow on trees. It grows on the wheat fields, except for the place where nothing grows. But only if you keep it growing. The older I got, though, the more the land where nothing grows watched me. I still heard it oftentimes, whispering to me about my father. It's as if the circle had grown stronger, more lucrative, more manipulative. One morning, as I was walking by, something caught my attention. Something laying in the land where nothing grows. As I cautiously approached, I could see what it was. An old white cowboy hat sat on the ground just a foot inside the circle. I felt my stomach turn, and my heart skipped a beat just to pound back seconds later. I'd know that battered and stained hat anywhere. It was my Pa's hat that he refused to replace. Always said that the hat was a part of him. I trembled to see his old hat out there in the land where nothing grows. I knew I shouldn't, but I had to get that hat. As I ducked between the barbed wire, I could hear Pa's voice in those quiet whispers. "Come on over here and give your old man a hand, huh?" I got to the edge of the circle as the silence fell and my peripherals blurred. "You make me proud, son." "Pa, is that you?" I asked. I know it's irrational, but at that moment I thought that retrieving that old hat would somehow bring my Pa back to me. I reached out, and the second I touched that hat, darkness encompassed everything around me. Shadows danced in the circle as agonizing screams pierced my ears, and it sounds like he's the one screaming. An incredible pain surged through every inch of my insides as if my heart was being ripped from my chest. That's when I heard him. Pa, his muffled yells reached His muffled yells reached me through the relentless screams penetrating my ears. "Get the hell out of here, son. Run, boy." I came to my senses, and with every ounce of strength I could muster, I yanked on that hat and ripped myself free from the powerful clutch of the circle. The screams stopped and daylight returned. I did exactly what Pa said and ran away from that godforsaken circle. I didn't stop until I reached the house, when I finally collapsed onto Pa's old recliner, still clutching that battered hat. After all these years, I finally lost control over my emotions and let 11 years worth of bottled up tears pour out. After what seemed like hours, I finally pulled myself together and headed up the stairs to take a shower. My body ached, my back felt stiff and sore, and my knees popped with a twinge of pain at every step. It wasn't until I looked in a mirror that I realized the truth. At first, I was shocked to see Pa staring back out at me from the mirror. But I realized seconds later that I wasn't looking at Pa. I was looking at myself. That graying hair atop that wrinkly face in the mirror was mine, as were the darkening bags underneath my eyes. I looked old and haggard. I don't know how long my hand was inside that circle, nor what exactly it did to me, but it must have aged me 20 years in those seconds inside the land where nothing grows. I'm still doing what I can... I'm still doing what I can on the farm, but I can feel my mind slipping the same way Pa's did. I find myself zoning out into nothingness, my thoughts stuck on the land where nothing grows. By the time I come to my senses, my coffee's gone cold. The land where nothing grows whispers to me, promising me peace, promising rest and relief for my painful body and slipping mind. Most importantly, it promises that I can see Pa again. Now I know that the whispers are lies, but every day they just get a little louder, a little more persistent, and I often find myself confused and believing the whispers, even whispering back. When I'm gone, I'm not sure what will come of this land, but if you ever find yourself on the edge of a circle of land where nothing grows, you'd best run and never look back. You see, everything dies in the land where nothing grows.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good story. Good story.
I will say I was waiting for like the stereotypical twist that you see with creepypastas, where like he was Pa the whole time, and the circle is actually like a teleportation circle or something weird like that.
I think when he woke up and he saw that he was old in the mirror, it's not that he aged necessarily. It's like all that time he kind of like lost all that time. Like when all those years his dad started getting like forgetting things and just not being all there. I think that's what happened to him because he spent too much time around that area. But you never know. I don't know. You believe whatever you want to believe. Interpret it however you want to interpret it.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Good job, R.M. Staniforth.
Yeah. Nice name.
All right. Let's look over to Stream Chat. There's a lot of things we have to address tonight. There's a lot of things we have to address. But the most important, the most frequently mentioned in the chat is who is on that pillow. And I will say, Glitch was 100% correct. So Robin's going to grab it, I'm sure, and show off my replacement for when I'm not around. It is indeed Spike Spiegel and Ein from Cowboy Bebop.
He's sexy on the other side.
So yes, that is what the body pillow is. So all right, let's cover some stuff before we jump into any of these notifications. We have a setup that was supposed to work fairly well. It'll be very similar to this camera. In fact, it's probably going to be what we're going to use. The microphone that you can hear us through is not the microphones that are in front of us that we're recording on. It's actually the microphone coming from the camera. Because for whatever reason, Robin's computer is just having difficulty with upload speeds right now. We're not sure what exactly is going on with it, but we're going to try and get it fixed.
Time for a new one.
So you just got a 3060 Ti in that thing, girl. Maybe a new motherboard, though. So anyways, we are running off of my new laptop, which has not been set up properly. I had 9 minutes to basically get this thing set up because it has just been all over the place. So it's going to be an interesting edit, too, because we're recording two microphones into one output. So there's going to be a single track to edit, so I can't split us, but we'll see how that winds up going. That's a problem.
My fingers in the cup.
Problem for future Adam. Well, let's get those out. Oh, looks good. But anyways, Ginseng Joe says, could some sort of program be hogging up internet? No, it's nothing like that, because we have other devices that are getting the proper upload speeds, such as my laptop.
No, that's why on this computer specifically, if there's something...
Oh, if there's something on this computer, there's nothing in the background running on upload. So, anyways, because like I had a monitor up and running to check and see what sort of upload speeds were going. There's something that's either throttling it on the network side that needs to be adjusted, or there's a program on the computer that's not allowing it to happen. But let's read some notifications. Shout out to the Snark. 4 days ago, they resubscribed with their Prime Gaming for the 33rd month. Thank you so much. Shout out to Chloe, who gave us 100 bits 52 minutes ago. Shout out to Queen FNE92, who followed us 43 minutes ago, and 30 minutes ago for resubscribing for the second month. And shout out to the Snarked. Their Prime subscription went through again 23 minutes ago for the 34th month. Which is weird. It says, miss you two already. All the butts and biceps chat are watching except Rhett. He's sleeping. No worries. Thank you all for joining us. And shout out to Ginseng Joe for just resubscribing this minute for the 13th month. We appreciate that. Y'all are amazing. You might not be able to hear any of the notifications. For whatever reason, my laptop, when I open up the program that we use to stream, the speakers won't work. It's the weirdest thing, but the bat transition worked. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm. I heard the bat transition.
Yeah, but like
heard it.
The notifications aren't working, and the music wasn't working to start the show, so it's like everything's all over the place. But hopefully, in the future, we'll have these things worked out. I mean, we moved out here. We drove out Saturday. We got things set up Sunday. We've had like an official setups for like, I don't know, 36 hours. So it's been quite the whirlwind new year so far. Let's see what you folks said over there in stream chat.
I'm thirsty.
Okay, you can go get a drink.
Yeah.
I have a thimble full of water.
Oh yeah, this one too. You're starting a collection.
No, I'm really not. I don't think this one was mine. Robin's already bored with the stream, so she is left.
Where's my water bottle?
Don't ask me, dog. All right, Pink Penguin said, all right, just a quiet night waiting for the podcast. Maybe I'll do a yoga sesh after to work off some of these carne asada fries. That sounds amazing. There was someone that was in chat a lot earlier, but because I had to reset everything so many times, I don't know who it was, but shout out to you. Laura Ann said yum in regards to the carne asada fries. Lots of folks joined us when we finally got the stream up. Laura Ann says, no judgments here. I had Burger King for dinner. Haven't been doing too bad other than that. Pink Penguin said, my New Year's resolution is off to a rocking start. I promise I'll have a salad next time. My New Year's resolution was to say the F word less. And I've been doing pretty well, although I was very much tested by this stupid setup not wanting to work correctly. So it's pretty annoying. Yeah, the battle thing isn't working because it's a program that's downloaded on a different computer. And we're on our backup right now, so it was not available. And we will not be having marbles tonight because neither of these PCs have marbles installed, which is unfortunate. All right, gonna keep scrolling. All right. Understand says, we are observing peace and light for the first stream of our Spooky Masters being apart. We are not apart. I will be here this week and next week. And then the week after that is when we'll be in two different spots, and it'll actually be a lot easier to stream, which will be at least relieving there.
There's a raspberry iced tea. Do you like raspberry iced tea?
I do not.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's all you, though.
That's all.
Ow.
This jacket looks huge on me.
Yeah, there's no sound. There was no sound to start because when we transition from one scene to the other, because of this brand new setup, there's not an extra command attached because I didn't program it in. I have it programmed in for the other backup setup where the microphones will activate. I have to activate them manually. I don't think we're going to have... Chloe redeemed a high five. I don't think we're going to have alcoholic beverages tonight.
Yep. Because we don't have any.
We don't have any. That's what it comes down to. All right, going to keep scrolling. For folks who are saying that Twitch is being glitchy, I will say... we have dropped a little bit of frames since we started. It says we've only dropped 1.5%, which came at the very beginning. So it seems to have leveled out, which is nice to see. But if you're getting any sort of stuttering, that might be the case. It might be better on YouTube. Most likely it'll be about the same. So just wanted to let you know. Gonna keep scrolling. Captain Figure says, I'm a little late. Is this Robin's new digs? Yes, indeedy, feed the needy. This is Robin's new room that we'll be working out of, and she'll be calling home for the next at least 6 months. So, all right, Captain Vegas says, I just heard that creepypasta are horror themed instead of horror themed. I mean, some of them are.
What?
I'm sure there's creepypastas out there about sex workers. Bunny Cakes has joined us and said, hello. What up, Bunny Cakes? Thank you for joining us. Anna says, am I the only one on YouTube? I think there was one other person I saw chatting on YouTube. Chunk says, wait, are you guys in the same room? Indeed we are.
Crystal says, stop by to say hi, out of town/state, and lost video, so have a good night, y'all.
Thank you for joining us, Crystal, even though you're probably not here anymore. This is the Body Pillow chat. The Snark posited that it was a summoning circle. I saw someone else, I think over there on YouTube, state that they thought it was a fairy circle. Anna says, when I was a young boy, ? It just sounded weird. Gabriella is over there on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining us. Sherry Sue says, I'm hooked on Riverdale and almost didn't want to turn it off for this.
Did you try calling it Riverdale? Rivendell? Rivendell?
I don't know.
I've
been bringing it since I had the quarantine. I've been binging it since I've had the quarantine. If only you can get paid for watching Netflix, LOL.
I've only seen season 1. I've never seen anything else of Riverdale. But season 1 was weird. I don't know.
Everyone's
Not the
commenting.
Archie comic that I thought it would be, that's for sure.
Everyone's kind of commenting on how odd it is, and it's cool though. Snark says, it's dumb, but eye candy based on the Archie comics. It's hilarious. Chunk says, I'm still at work, but listening in the background.
Like, I think it's Cole Sprouse, who plays Jughead or whatever in it. He's actually cute in it, which is weird, because I'm so used to him and his brother being on Sweet Life.
I had no idea that Sweet Life of Zack and Cody existed until I noticed that guy, and I was like, oh, that's the kid from Big Daddy with Adam Sandler.
Oh!
And she's like, he had his own TV show. I'm like, I don't know. The Snark says, it's more like the land where everything dies. I still think they should have thought of a more abbreviated name for this, like the Dead Zone, but that's very Dragon Ball Z-esque, so. All right, people are asking what
Glitch
folks are drinking.
Sometimes. Dead's better.
That's good. I can't believe I almost scrolled past that. Cat of Vega said she's drinking tea. IMB Train says Sierra Mist and water. Queen Effany says spooky water. They are a month sober as of yesterday. Congratulations, Queen Effany. That is awesome. Keep going. Sherry Sue says water and also 0 orange soda. Pink Penguin said bubbly, sparkling water with caffeine.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't either. Liz Teresa says, the pill in the background been brought up yet? I just jumped onto the stream. That's fucking hilarious. And then they speculated on who they thought it was. Chloe thought it was Levi from Attack on Titan.
Which is kind of look like
from
Levi
a distance. I looked at it, I was like, that's a solid guess. But then came in Glitch saying straight up, it's Spike with eye on his shoulders. Fucking nailed it. All right. Gonna keep scrolling. Someone said they bought their first Squishmallow. It was Pink Penguin said, I bought my first Squishmallow and it's super soft and squishy.
It's an addiction.
I didn't get the hype at first, but now I'm a fan. Yeah, there's a lot of folks we know that are addicted, which is kind of funny.
Well, now I have my own collection growing too.
Everyone's saying Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to all of you. We hope 2022 has been treating you well so far.
I need to bring Chewy back when we get back.
Indeed. That is
that's the one Squish that I'm like, I have to bring it.
He's so
Even
big.
though I probably don't need it out here, but it's so soft. Lunar New Year is coming up soon. I have to get some candy for my dad.
It's going to be Year of the Tiger. So we were advised not to have a kid yet because if it were a girl and it were born this year, we were told that they would be too difficult to, I don't know, not raise, but they're just going to be a big dickhead. And I'm like, I almost kind of want a girl that's born in the Year of the Tiger because they won't put up with no shit. Queen Effany says, I have not watched
You say that
Cowboy
until you
Bebop.
raise them and they're like, I freaking hate you. You're awful, and I hate you.
I mean, they're going to say that no matter what, regardless of if they're born Year of the Tiger. Just saying.
That's
Queen Effany 92 says, I accidentally unfollowed, so I had to follow again. No big deal. I'm going to keep scrolling here. Bunny Cake says, I thought you guys were sitting on the floor. No, we got chairs. It's a weird angle.
Yeah.
We have chairs. We're just leaning back. You can't see the chair at all. So, hope you enjoyed that. Robin has a nice chair. I have a folding chair. You can really see that I did not do my hair before the show. I got like a little white thing in my hair.
What is it?
I don't know.
Like a fluff?
It's a floof.
It's because you just changed your shirt.
I changed my shirt. I was basically troubleshooting this. I mean, I set it up yesterday I set it up yesterday as much as I could, and then I had to work today. And then as soon as I was done with my last meeting, I switched into. I have everything set up. Every single thing is set up. I got a new stream deck for this room, just in case Robin ever winds up having to stream from here. And it's just been like everything was going well, and I'm like, all right, now let's test the connection. And as soon as I tested the connection, it's like failed. I'm like, fuck. So Robin went out and got a 50-foot Ethernet cable. We just hardlined it straight to the modem, straight to the router. Nothing. Like, no improvement, no change. It's super weird.
There's something going on with this.
Yeah,
and
so
there's something running in the background.
Unless
but you can check
there's
that. We can check it later.
Yeah, unless there's some program that's like specific to the router that's blocking this particular IP for some reason and limiting it to 1.5, which like you cannot stream anything at 1.5. I did run that test at like 610 as a last resort just to see if on the minimum settings we could be all pixelated and run, and it still didn't work. So Captain Big, I said thimble, LOL. Yes, something tiny. Yeah, I'm sorry that there's not going to be marbles. Once we can do marbles, we'll do a few extra marbles. Brian says, Spooky Mom will have to join the stream when you two are apart. Someone has to be there to smack you when you get out of line.
That'd be hilarious.
She will not be doing that because she works most of the time. Brian says, as an FYI, YouTube is streaming much smoother than Twitch, so then it is a Twitch problem. It's actually not. We don't actually stream to Twitch. We stream to Restream, and then Restream distributes the stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So if they're all doing the same thing, the problem's on our end. If one of them's doing something, the problem is on that particular server's end. It's shocking because Twitch is the one that's literally built to fucking only stream. Facebook and YouTube can do other things.
Ginter over on Facebook says, how do I get on Stitch? Oh, Twitch. I can't find the link on the website. That would be Twitch, twitch.tv, right? Twitch.tv.
Yeah, and then there should be a post that goes up every week at 2:30 p.m. in the Spooky Friends group and on the main page that gives you the link to twitch.tv/Scaryish Podcast. So that is how you can do that. I'm going to keep scrolling here. Carrie over there on YouTube says, I'm here too in Australia, but at work, so can't really interact much. Hello to all. What up? Thank you for being here.
Hello.
And it says, I didn't know people moved. Chung says, yeah, Twitch is laggy, so I came here. It just seems to be like that today. Lots and lots of problems all over the world. Snark says, also, we got Make It at Home Boba from Costco to try tonight. I hope it's good. Brian says, a little jealous of our Australian friends. You get to start the day with Adam and Robin.
Vivian Guy says, I have high hopes about their Costco boba. Maybe it's good.
We did alright, I wasn't there for it, but Robin and Co. did homemade boba at one point, and I was told that it was good. I'm going to hand this over to you so that you can go ahead and read some more, and then I'm going to try and play around with some settings down here.
It was definitely all right. Queen Ethne says, I had a canned drink with boba in it, and it was not satisfactory. I think I know the one you're talking about. It was not good. It was like not boba. It was like hard and weird. It was not good.
That is how boba was when I first tried it back in Northwest Indiana. And they called it bubble tea.
I'm just thinking of Letterkenny when Shorzy is in the gym and he's like, let's get some bubble tea.
Oh, yeah?
Anyway, people don't watch that show, just us.
Fletch watches it.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Gabriella says, I'm a girl that was born in the year of the tiger and is a Sagittarius. I don't think I'm that difficult. In the future, I definitely want a girl born in the year of the tiger.
Hell yeah.
Chunkster says, I have the best body pillow case. I got Refrigerator Senpai. I'll post the pic in the Discord later. Nice. Yeah, we went to a con and I was like, I need a body pillow. I need to find a like cute cover for this body pillow. And I could not find anything that didn't have tiggle bitties on it. And it was very hard to find a non-sexy body pillow. So all you designers out there, make some normal pillows and non-sexy ones, please. So I can have other ones that aren't just Spike on there. Scrolling. I'm just scrolling. Yep. All right. Cool.
Well, I still got to pick a story, so you're going to need a vamp.
Oh, my sweet baby jerseys.
Oh, it's like I haven't been doing anything all this whole time.
Oh, fucking jeez. You should have been doing this whole time.
What?
So
we can't all just get up and walk away from the stream to grab a drink, though.
Ginseng Joe says, I was just about to flip out and begrudgingly return my little brother's new PC because I thought its video card was broken. What?
Over what?
Their video card being broken. Just keep looking for your thing. I was also troubleshooting, but we failed to check the simple stuff. The damn cable wasn't connected properly to the monitor. No! There's got to be something stupid like that that's wrong with my computer right now. And that's the reason why it won't go over 1 meg. Okay. Liz Tree says, I guess and the Matrix and I are going to have Oh my God! Turns out the reason I was so sick in Pennsylvania was not just because of the Mutter Museum. Surprise for us, Captain Bacon! Congratulations!
Oh, snap! Congratulations!
That's so awesome.
I hope you didn't have too many of Robin's margaritas.
I'm sure they're fine. They're fine.
I'm sure.
They said that they went back, and turns out they were 9-ish weeks pregnant. That's so cool. Queen Effany says my dream body pillow would be one with Xena on it. Did you ever watch Xena as a kid?
I did not. I didn't watch Xena or Hercules.
Princess. Captain Fake Eye says so many people pregnant in the spooky fam. Yes. Oh, Lucy says, yeah, I feel bad about the margaritas. It's all right. It was only 9 weeks.
You didn't know. You're okay. We all know.
Ginseng just says I'd kill for a Shrek body pillow. Scrippery wants a Hallmark themed one. I mean, what would you put on a Hallmark themed one?
I don't think Hallmark would be in the business of making body pillows just based off of the content they try and produce.
Maybe a giant Christmas tree. Just put a big old Christmas tree on there. You can hug a Christmas tree. Did I miss anything? I'm scrolling backwards to see if I missed anything. No, I don't know.
Talk about our time traveling out here and how things have been so far.
Things have been great. Lots of setting up stuff. It's been nice. Other than this computer problem, Adam was setting everything up. The first night when we recorded the episode that you guys heard on Tuesday, Adam was just up. I don't think either of us slept until 6 or something like that. And Adam was just real frustrated because he's like, the audio sucks. This is the worst episode it's going to be. Like, there's so much echoing and there's this and that and this and that. And it's like he's trying to do all this stuff at 4:35 in the morning. And it was just, oh my gosh. But he said it turned out good. So
turns out the headphones I was editing with have an echo. And I didn't realize it until I got onto Discord to play with my D&D group on Tuesday, and everyone was echoing. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And sure enough, I plugged it into something else, and I was just like, and now everything sounds fine. And then I listened to the episode, and I was like, wow, I overproduced the shit out of this to try and take echo out that was just basically because of my headphones.
So it's the most crisp episode ever?
I wouldn't say that, but it's definitely not the worst like I thought it was going to be. So at least there's that. All right, I think I found a story. I'm going to send it over to you on Facebook Messenger, y'all, and then I can open it up, and then I can read it, and then we can read, and then. Cool.
Okay. And then. Gotcha.
It's also been a super busy week at work because
thank you so much, Kirby Star, for following us.
What up, Kirby Star? Thank you. I was off for, like 6-7 work days, and I had all that work waiting for me. So getting to work on Monday and Tuesday was just fucking crazy. And then today's just been nothing but meetings. So Snark says, verdict on Costco Boba, smashing success.
Ooh, nice.
Ginseng Joe says, I've been MIA for the streams, but are you guys moving together, or is it just Robin? How has the move been? It's kind of just her to begin with, but because I can work from home, I'm just basically going to split my time between here and then back home in Las Vegas. So that is the plan. All right. Let's go ahead and move into our second story. We might only have 3 because that first one was really long. So,
all right.
Is your second one short?
It's 7 minutes, just like this one.
Yeah, we should probably do a short one to end. It sounds really fucking long. All right, let's go ahead and mark this. We're going to move into our next story. Aboop, de-doop.
7 minutes isn't that long.
Scripty redeemed a high five.
Maybe you don't need a fourth one. We'll just read my second one and then...
I'm fine with that.
Okay, cool. That way you don't have to stress out about it, my little bunny.
I'm not stressed out about it. I just don't want to have like an hour and 10 minute pasta time. So
you're an hour and 10 minutes.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay, if you want to go back to your spot, you fucking creep, so I can get started on this.
Okay.
All right.
It's my turn to stand.
You couldn't stand it to have me just look at you. You had to have your hand up.
Yeah.
And immediately you have to start trolling me. All right. Marking it one more time. We're already up to 28 marks. We've only gotten through one story. All right.
One more time.
So I'll move into our next creepypasta, and this one's called Knocking. I don't know if we've done this one before.
I
Let me go ahead and check and see if we've done this one before.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just in case. Well, Robin vamps.
The name Stephen Shorter doesn't sound familiar, but who knows?
Like the author?
Who knows, yeah. But we'll
Fun suggestion. If you're ever wondering, have they covered that? Go onto your phone or your PC. Go into your browser and go to Scaryish Podcast on Spotify. Don't go into it through the Spotify app. Because if you go to Scaryish on Spotify through a browser, you can just scroll to the bottom to make sure you have all the episodes brought up, and then just use Control F. That's how we check and see if we've done topics before. I did that on Monday and killed one of Robin's topics because she had actually already covered it like 3.5 years ago.
I can't believe we've been doing this for so long. All the topics are starting to blend.
All right, we have 4 matches for knocking. A storytime episode, a regular episode, another storytime episode, and another storytime episode. I think we're clear. Cool. All right, so we can read this one. All right. Fuck. It's just been a crazy day. Glad you're all here with us, though. Thank you for joining us. All right, so I'm going to move into our next creepypasta. Don't fucking pat me on the back. I hate you so much. All right. Come on, dude. Just let me start this, please. You have to be such a fucking troll. Robin's the kid who, if they see you struggling, just like, I'm going to make this fucking worse. Were you born Year of the Tiger?
No.
You're a snake,
I'm
right?
a snake.
I know. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move into our next story, and this one's title is Knocking. And it goes like this. It started when I was 6 years old. I was in school. It was the middle of a reading lesson, and I needed to pee badly. At that age, actually, a fair few kids still wet themselves, and I always got paranoid about embarrassing myself in public like that. I stuck my hand up and told Mrs. Zebby that I needed to use the bathroom. After the usual speech about how I, quote, should have gone at break, she gave me the key to the disabled access toilet. In parentheses, as it was the closest one to my classroom.
Well, my response would have been like, well, I didn't have to go on my break. I have to go now.
And this is why you pee your pants, because they wouldn't give you the key. It was the middle of 5th period, and the court... 5th period? And there's 6? Am I reading that correctly? That 5th period? I only had one... I had like one classroom, and we did everything in that classroom when I was 6.
I think I had 7 periods in one day, because you have 45 minutes, 45 minutes.
Yeah, but when you're 6...
You're in elementary school. You get out at the same time.
Elementary school, we had class 1A, class 1B. You did everything in that class. We didn't have periods. It would just be like time for art, and you'd walk down to the room that you do art in. We didn't have a period like you would in high school. We didn't start that shit until 6th grade, till middle school. So
well, like it's like 45 minutes you have math class, 45 minutes you have English class, 45 minutes you have art, 45 minutes you have music, 45 minutes.
We had subjects, but we didn't have periods or classes.
I mean, I'm sure that's the same thing.
All right, it just sounds weird to me. I just see this fucking 6-year-old like going to their locker, talking about how much they hate their first job, and like smoking a joint on recess.
What the?
All right.
I mean, at 6, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, you're a grown-ass man at 6. All right, here we go. It was the middle of 5th period, and the corridors were empty and seemed cavernous to me. I was short. Cock. I was a short, scrawny thing back then. I sometimes had trouble with doors, especially unlocking them, and I fumbled for a good minute or two in trying to get the blasted thing open.
And that's how you peed your pants.
Anyway, as I sat on my porcelain throne, there came a knocking at the door.
What?
Someone's in here, I
thought
called.
They had to pee.
Holy fucking shit, Robin. Can I read this?
I'm just saying, he said he had to pee. Why is he sitting on the porcelain throne?
Sometimes when you're a little kid, you sit down and pee, maybe? I don't fucking know.
You're a dude. Tell me.
I never sat down to pee. I did do the thing for a while where you pull your pants all the way to your ankles to pee at the urinal. You don't want to be that kid at school.
Okay. All right.
It's just like, you have a fly for... Oh, let's just fucking move on. Maybe you can shut the fuck up a little bit. That'll help me out here.
Okay.
Yeah, just shake your fucking ice in your cup. Why are you such a nightmare today, dude? Just make things easier for me. You can edit this episode. How about that?
I'm trying to swallow as quietly as possible.
You're doing as noisy as possible. All right. Someone's in here, I called, disgruntled at this disturbance. There came a pause. Then the knocking resumed. It was faster now, more determined. Wait a minute! The knocking slowed, and a voice replied, "Let me in.
No.
I need to come inside." The speaker's tone was thin and reedy, an adult I didn't recognize.
That's freaking...
I may have been 6, but I also had a fairly good understanding of bathroom etiquette, mainly that you didn't let more than one person into an area only slightly larger than a cupboard. Go away! The knocking intensified again until it was a frantic drumbeat, just a few feet from me and out of sight. I heard the voice shouting something, growing more and more desperate.
It's a haunted bathroom.
"Let me in! Just open the door, please!" I was terrified by that point. The hammering and yelling were so loud, and yet nobody had come to investigate it. Eventually, my teacher came to find me, angry because I had been gone for almost half an hour. When I refused to open the door to let her in, she got a spare key from the receptionist and then took me to the headmaster's office and called my parents. I was suspended for the rest of the week. I never told anyone what happened. Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, that's bullshizzle.
It was a few weeks before my next encounter with this phenomenon. I had just celebrated my 7th birthday, and my family was having a barbecue in my honor. It was a glorious sunny day, but as soon as we'd set everything up in the allotments behind our house, the coal refused to light. My dad asked me to go get some fire starters from the shed in the front garden.
Nope, no, he's going to go into the shed, and they're going to be knocking, and they're going to yell again.
It was pretty cramped inside, and I wouldn't fit all the way, so I just opened it up, stood on tiptoes to reach the shelf, holding my objective, then shut the door. As I turned away, a frantic knocking hit the other side of the door. "Open up! I need to come through!" The voice was not the one I'd heard the month before. It was deeper, more brooding and angry. Oh, let me take that again. "Open up! I need to come through." It's better. I said nothing and hurried away. I had no idea what was happening, but it frightened me. As I walked away, there came a final thump, like a fist being slammed against wood, and I heard his voice again. "You little bastard! I'll rip your fucking teeth out. Let me through."
What?
I ran back to my party and spent the rest of the day glancing over my shoulder. As you might have guessed by now, there were a lot of these voices. I count at least 30 total. Every month or so, I used to get them, pleading to be let through doors. Almost always, it would be immediately after I shut the door behind me, as though these strange entities had been following me. I never told anyone, but to be honest, I kind of just got used to it. It always made me jump, and some of the voices would make me feel uneasy, but I knew that I was safe, so long as I did not open the door. Some of the voices I got used to the extent that I even named them. There was one which always used to appear at my front door at home. We had frosted glass, and I could see a silhouette of an average-sized man wearing a cap of some kind. He never spoke, but occasionally would push envelopes containing blank pieces of paper through the letterbox. I called him the postman. I hope at the end, like he's knocking on the door to come through, he's like, "Oh yeah, wait a minute, Mr. Postman."
I love that song.
He was one of the more unsettling ones. If I tried to speak to him, he would look up sharply, then begin knocking. I generally left the postman alone.
So creepy, dude.
20 years on, and I have retained much as... Fuck. 20 years on, and I have retained as much normality as possible. I have plenty of friends, and I even have an on and off relationship with a girl I met last year. Not bad for a guy who wakes up in the middle of the night and listens intently to noises you can't hear on the other side of the door. Yeah, my buddies think I'm strange and kooky, but they put up with it. They're all great. I'll miss them. Oh, fuck.
What the what?
You see, things have started to get strange. Well, stranger than usual, I suppose. 3 weeks later, 3 weeks ago, I awoke sweating and crying, though I do not know why. My dream had been, from what I recall, fairly normal, when a huge shadow had abruptly fallen over everything. Literally, the second I opened my eyes, there came the knocking at my bedroom door. Not just normal knocking, though. This was truly frantic. "Who goes there?" I yelled.
Why is his voice like that?
Because it says "who goes there." That's how you say that phrase. "But please, help us," it replied. I was surprised. It was the sadistic, angry voice that I remembered from my father's shed on my 7th birthday.
Oh, so you gotta retake it.
But it seemed genuinely sincere. "But please, help us." There was a pained tone to it, too, as though the speaker were grievously wounded. I actually found myself pulling back the sheets to get up, but I hesitated. I had never before been tempted to open the door. I suppose as a child, I had so rigorously drummed into my head the idea that whatever lay beyond was evil that it was just common sense. To be quite honest, I came very close to letting the thing into my room that morning. I held out in the end. It got worse. 2 days later, I was in my local corner shop. I just paid for a bottle of milk and a newspaper when a great force slammed against the shop door. Simultaneously, a voice began screaming, a long, keening squeal of pain. I imagine it sounded like...
Oh, wait, a voice screaming. I'm tired.
You stole my joke, and yours was terrible. That's the worst part. I'm taking it again. I imagine this long, keening squeal of pain sounded like... Oh... I whirled to face the door, but there were so many flyers plastered over the glass that I could only just make out the shape of a woman on the other side, slapping her palms against the window. The shopkeeper stared at me as though I were crazy. In the end, I asked if he had a bathroom I could use, murmured some half-thought-out excuse, and hid there for 10 minutes until the screaming stopped. There were 4 more incidents between then and now, a mixture of screams and tearful begging. The postman stopped by yesterday, too. He knocked politely before sliding his usual letter through the letterbox. Then another. Then another. A total of 10 plain brown envelopes. The postman waited for a few minutes, knocking occasionally, and then he left me alone. Each letter contained a sheet of A4 paper, but somebody had taken a black pen to the pages, scribbling and shading them with such vigor that they were large tears there were large tears around the center, and the edges were frayed. I shoved them back into their envelopes and tried to put it from my mind. Earlier, my bedroom door shook violently. It wasn't a scream or a howl or a roar that I heard, though. It was just crying. Dozens and dozens of voices sobbing quietly. Another blow struck my door. Plaster flaked from the walls and twirled to the carpet. Still no pleas or bargaining, just sobbing. Crash. I jumped up from my chair. Crash. A hairline crack split the frame of the door in one corner. My phone began to ring, and I heard a sharp rapping at the glass of my window behind the curtains. I tried answering the phone, but it was simply yet more voices crying. Not even sobbing, though. More like bawling in terror and anguish. I hung up, but it kept ringing, so I took the battery out.
This is getting weird.
I have shoved most of my furniture against the door and window. It has been 3 hours since this latest attempt at entry began. The battering has not abated, nor has the crying. I'm fairly sure that my door won't hold much longer. As for my mediocre barricade, it could be swept aside in 2 minutes. I find myself faced with the very real possibility of death, so I am writing this memoir of sorts, just in case something does happen. Crash. What do they want? Crash. Do they even want to hurt me? Crash. They seemed fearless, even malicious before. Crash. What could have driven them to this? Crash. Maybe I should open the door. Crash. Maybe I should let them in. Silence fell. I realized that even the crying had ceased. For a whole minute I sat there. Then I got up and hurried to my door, eager to escape their claustrophobic situation. Perhaps I'd go outside, where I could be far away from any doors and from the damned knocking. I pulled away my barricade and turned the handle. Locked. Kneeling, I peered through the keyhole. Beyond my bedroom door was not the quarter that I remembered, but another room. Some kind of library or classroom, I think. It seemed unoccupied, but for one kid sitting and reading with his back to me. I banged on the door. Hey, kid, let me out, okay? He glanced over his shoulder. Yeah, over here. Could you open the door, please? I can't. I'm in detention. I'm not supposed to talk to anyone. Go away. He turned from me. Confused and exasperated, I began to stand up. A loud bang shattered the silence once more. I realized it sounded like a fist being pounded against glass. My window. I heard it again, but this was not the frantic knocking of somebody waiting to get inside. Damn it. Somebody wanting to get inside. This was not even an attempt to break in. Whatever was beyond the curtain and glass knew I was inside. It knew I was frightened. In the most predatory and sadistic way possible, it wanted me to be afraid. I turned back to the door and began hammering on it frantically. Hey, let me in, okay? I really need you to open the door.
And that's by Stephen Shorter. Thank you so much for writing that. So the twist is, he became the person on the other side of the door.
Yeah, he became trapped by whoever it was that was doing this. I wonder what would have happened if he would have just opened the door for one of them, but they all seemed frantic and angry, especially the ones like, I'll knock your fucking teeth out or whatever. I think if you had someone who was like reasonably pleading, like, hey, I seem to be trapped in here. Could you like maybe open the door for me? I'd really appreciate it. It might go a little bit better than like threatening children, but who knows?
I mean, if you were trapped somewhere in this room and you wanted to get out and you thought someone had kidnapped you and put you in that room and wasn't letting you out, wouldn't you be like, I'll fucking kill you?
No, I mean, that's not his situation, though. He knows what's going on because he experienced it his whole life. There's no way that would happen to me for 20 years, and I wouldn't have thought what I would say to get out of that same situation. I would just try and be reasonable and be like, hey, can you let me out? I am trapped, and I really need help, and I have candy. And I think you could probably, get let out of there sooner or later.
Why do you immediately go to, hey, I got candy?
It was the joke that you were supposed to get, but you took way too seriously.
Oh.
So, either way, good stuff. All right, let's look over in Stream Chat, see what you folks had to say. Your mouse wheel scrolls weird. Like it has a dead spot in it. Have you ever noticed that?
No. All right, princess. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Nefgore, for resubscribing for 8 months. They said, yay. We say yay. Also, the scripter redeemed a high five.
We high-fived 17 minutes ago when that happened.
No, we high-fived for Chloe's.
I promise you we did, but we can do it again.
Yeah, I'll do it again. That's fine. I don't mind Ow!
Ha, take that.
That was bad.
You were barely touched.
You want another one?
You're so annoying. Get out of here. Why don't you read some of this?
It's too far. I don't have my glasses on.
You were reading it earlier. What the hell, man? Snark says that they made their boba with chocolate milk.
Ooh.
Scripture says, I finally attached that phone thing, and I attached your bunny to it.
Cute, cute, cute.
Jinting Joe says, you got it, Adam. The pain is temporary, but it'll neutralize with time.
What?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that's in regards to. Cat Vega says, y'all remember elementary school so well. I don't remember what I was doing at 6. I remember kindergarten kind of, first grade kind of, but second grade is really where things kick in for me.
I remember elementary school, we played Pogs. Do you remember playing Pogs?
5th grade was Pogs for me.
And Pokemon cards. I got my Pokemon cards taken away at one point because the school was like, Pokemon cards aren't allowed because it became this huge thing, the principal was like, okay, at the end of the day or the end of the school year or whatever, you can pick them up. I never did.
Wow, that's dumb of you. That's probably a lot of money you threw away.
Yeah.
Nefgore said hello to everyone, and everyone said hello back. Captain Fig, I said I can't stop laughing at Adam's voice for this dude. Glitch says, yep, I see your problem here. You got Japanese butt demons. It's hilarious. Nefgore mentioned that Twitch is really laggy for them. You can head over to YouTube. Apparently that's doing a whole lot better. Right. Snark says, plus side, no motorcycle zooming by the window. That is nice. Captain Fig says, how you know they're evil? They use A4 paper instead of 8x11. That's funny.
Yeah, it's weird because A4, A5, A whatever sizes, they're just slightly different from the sizes we use. It's like America was just like, we don't want to use your measuring system. We're going to make our own paper sizes. They're real close to yours, but not. And
it's just different enough to make everything difficult for everyone.
Yeah. Gosh, dang Americans. Brian says Pogs was a shit back in the day.
Glitch says my worst nightmare is being trapped in the closet with R. Kelly. I think that's a lot of people's worst nightmare. Jensen Joe says LOL, I was talking about the pain of technical difficulties. Nice. It's just really weird. Like, I don't know what it sucks when something's happening and you don't know how to troubleshoot it at all. Because I thought as soon as I noticed the problem was like, there's something wrong with the network card, which I can't afford to replace. Let's just go ahead and buy an Ethernet cable, and then that should take care of it. And then when we plugged it in, I'm like, wait, it's still not working, and it's hardwired? And then we disabled the network card entirely so that it's only running through the hardwire, and it's still going. And I was just like, all right, now there's something definitely weird wrong. Snark says, my Pokemon cards got taken away at the end of the year. I got to get mine back along with everyone else's. Wow.
Nice. Kirby says, Robin, I love your nails. Are they maroon? They are. They're sparkly.
There's 5 of them. So it's a Maroon 5.
Oh my god.
Cat Vega says, yeah, Pokemon cards got taken away. Sad face. Sherry Sue says, I loved Garbage Pail Kids and also comics. And B-Train says, I'm distracted this episode. We're fostering a cat for a friend who is moving, and this cat has never seen a laser light.
Aww.
That's hilarious. Ginseng Joe says, can't help but wonder whether the paper sizes became what they were due to the early American colonies. Captain Vega says, I almost took in the stray I found. I saw the pictures that you posted. I was like, I have a feeling that Watson is going to have a friend soon. Ginseng Joe says, what if early Americans had slightly different printing presses? That's a good question. I wonder if it's something that has to do with the metric system or if they just decide they're going to have something be slightly different. So, it's hard to tell.
All right. You can run that 60-second ad.
It's probably a good idea.
Thank you.
All right. We will be right back. Anyone who is subscribed will not get the 60-second ad. Anyone who's on YouTube or Facebook.
60-second ad.
Shut the fuck up for the love of God. 60 seconds right now.
What's your problem? Chill.
You interrupted me a zillion times this show and you won't stop.
Chill. It's okay. I'm the comedy aspect of this podcast.
No, I'm not.
Are you sure?
You're the comic relief, for sure. But I mean, you're not funny. Your puns aren't very good either.
You're a goddamn liar.
You're funny looking.
That's fucking mean.
Man, this camera's really just tilted badly. Look at how angled the bed looks.
Yeah, it does look like we're sitting on the floor.
It does. It totally does. All right. Living Life Backwards is your next one. Why is it all in... Oh, never mind.
Yeah, stop reading ahead, biznatch.
I'm not reading ahead. I was wondering why it was all in italics, but fuck you. Stop.
So what? They can't see anything. They don't know what's going on.
I really hate you sometimes.
You say that, but after the show, you're like, I love you so much, baby.
I don't remember saying any of that shit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let's read some of this.
Exactly what your voice sounds like, too.
Let's read some of the stream chat before we go on to our next and final of the show. Brian said they never had Pokemon cards. I did not either. I don't think the TCG was out until I was like a junior in high school, maybe a little bit longer. It physically pains me that I can't hug Watson right now. That's funny. Glitch says, it was all about monsters in my pocket and Mighty Max. I remember Mighty Max. That show was awesome. Kevin Vega says, I remember Goosebumps, Babysitter's Club, and Animorphs. Animorphs is really... Actually, all of those are pretty cool. I don't remember Babysitter's Club, though.
Ginseng Joe says, how far have you gotten on Genshin Impact, Robin? I've been playing a lot this winter break. I think my adventure rank or whatever is 45 now. And I'm having a real rough time because none of my characters are level 70 yet. So the struggle is real.
The struggle.
You need help there?
Well, I can't see the hole.
Why don't I stick it in? Because I can see the hole.
Because you're in the middle of talking and I don't want to interrupt you.
That's what she
And
said.
honestly, you're usually just not helpful in general. So.
Anyway, I also need to do my daily mission things in Genshin today.
Chunk says, "LOL, you guys are tall, so at this angle, feels like we're the same height. I'm 5'2". That's hilarious." Sherry Sue says, "I still have my Babysitter Club books. That's pretty cool." Liz says, "I grew up strictly Christian. All I have was Magic Flying House and Bible stories." Glitch says, "I downloaded the wrong show because there was some reference to Mighty Max having 3 X's."
Oh, Jesus.
Which would mean sex.
I don't know about that. When going to Catholic school, you know what we watched? That thing about the vegetables.
VeggieTales?
VeggieTales, that's the one. That was awful.
Right on. You want to read your story?
Yeah, I'll read my story.
Okay.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it.
I'm gonna interrupt you 90 fucking times. With terrible puns, too.
Okay.
All right, let me mark it and you can get into it.
Do you mark it?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to leave.
Wow. Starting out strong.
All right, so I'm going to read the last story of this episode because these stories have been fairly long so far. And this one is titled Living Life Backwards. I just wanted to read this one because it reminds me of Tenet. Because we just watched Tenet and everything is about inversion, life inversion, things like that. All right. It begins. Tomorrow is the day my wife dies. It won't be an expected death, nor is it one that she deserves. What will happen is a simple, random act with no meaning behind fate's command. We'll be out walking, holding hands as we're heading home from a long day at work. Once we get to a crosswalk, her phone will ring. It's her mother, calling to tell us that her cancer has returned once more. It doesn't come as a shock. She'd been in remission for a couple of years, but her body had been ravaged by the previous round of chemo and radiation. The words wear heavy on my Lucy, and I see the tears well up in her eyes. She tries to stay strong in front of me, pretending she can handle the moment she's been preparing. Then she starts to approach the crosswalk. What she doesn't notice is that during our brief pause, the light has turned red. As she takes her first step into the crosswalk, she gets hit by a car and hits the ground. She dies on impact, and the paramedics can do nothing to help. In less than a second, everything she ever was will be taken away from me, and I have to watch it happen. I am so sorry, Lucy. Her death is a fact I've known since we first met as young children. Yet I can do nothing to prevent her untimely demise, no matter how badly I want to. She made me a promise. Swear never to tell her the inevitable truths of her future. Even had I tried to do so, it wouldn't have mattered. We weren't meant to know the end. That's what makes life beautiful, she said. But they're just words written down in a book, a reassuring lie I don't remember. That'll be it, the last memory I have of my wife alive. Once her body's been buried, and once I've moved away to another city, I'll forget she ever existed. And I'll be left with a hole in my heart, and I won't be able to fill. All I'll be left with is a hole in my heart, and I won't be able to fill.
Holy shit.
Oh.
All I'll be left with is a hole in my heart. That
Oh,
I won't be able to fill.
I got it, okay? Jesus. Looking, you're redlighting us like crazy.
That was you. You screeched like a fucking banshee.
All I'll be left with is a hole in my heart that I won't be able to fill until the day I finally die. Because that is my curse, to remember everything from my own future, but nothing of the past. To the best of my knowledge, I've always been this way, from the very first step I took as a toddler and from the first words spoken. I was given every single memory from my entire life, even though I hadn't yet experienced them. In return, they vanish from my mind once I experience them. In the most bizarre way, I'm living my life backwards. I'm burdened with the knowledge of tomorrow, knowing fully well I can do nothing to alter the oncoming passage of time. Thus, at the ripe old age of 35, I've forgotten every single factual detail about my life, and once these words have been put down on paper, they'll be gone too, washed away by my fractured mind. But before we continue my story, let me answer a few questions, such as, how can I write if I forget everything after learning it? How can I walk? How can I even have relationships with other people if their details elude me day to day? To the first two, I'll answer this. Do you remember your first step?
Yup.
I don't. The act of learning how to stand on 2 feet, or is it simply something you know how to do? A skill ingrained into your very being? Do you even need to think before speaking, or do words just flow out with only its context processed? Love, on the other hand, is an emotion that transcends memory. It's so deeply buried in our hearts that there have been cases of total amnesia riddling ridding the person of everything save the love they hold within. Memory and skill don't necessarily go together. Some abilities are ingrained in our muscles. And our subconscious mind. That's why I still miss my mother, even though I remember nothing about her. And it is why I still love my wife on her last night of... Shut up!
On her last night of...
On her last night of life. My curse is more like reverse amnesia, and the stories I have to tell are simply words read from a notebook. Each day I awake to read events from time to time I cannot remember, I awake to read events from a time I cannot remember. The handwriting doesn't even belong to myself, but to two distinct people. The first set of stories, spanning from my childhood to my mid-20s, were written by my mother. She was a brilliant person, quick to action and smart as all hell. She noticed something off about me at a very young age once I started predicting things that hadn't yet come to pass. The first incident occurred when I was 5 years old. It was such an innocuous, dumb complaint. I didn't want to go outside because of the storm. I was afraid the lightning would hit us during the picnic we'd planned. My mother was naturally confused, as the trip had been scheduled for the next day, and the weather report had confidently stated that the day would be filled with nothing but sunshine. Sunshine. Then, as the next morning arrived, my mother was shocked to see that my predictions had come true. Baffled but still skeptic, she wrote it down in her own diary as little more than an oddity. Just a year later, my mother found me crying in my room. I was distraught because our cat had died. She sat down and started to comfort me. Sure, our pet was of advanced age, but he still remained healthy, as curious as ever. In the middle of my frantic cries, the cat just walked in, checking what the commotion was about. A month later, he passed peacefully in his sleep, a good old cat who lived a great life. As I grew older, I quickly learned to separate past from future. My mother had already put two and two together, and she knew my life would be complicated, full of challenges. Because of that, I had difficulty making friends. Back then, my wife Lucy lived next door, and even she figured out something was weird about me. To her young mind, it seemed more of a superpower than a curse, and she eagerly promised to help keep a secret. Whether my ability was a gift or a curse, my mother never loved me any less. Instead, she took it upon herself to write down whatever moments we shared. That way, my life, though not remembered, would never be forgotten. She did her best to make my life manageable, but despite her best efforts, it was a painful journey, not just for myself, but for those who loved me. Of course, she never blamed me. After all, it wasn't my fault. But, as all people eventually do, my mother passed away. It's something I can't correctly recall, but the emotion connected to the event lingers firmly in my heart. It was my 22nd birthday, and we'd booked a table at a decently fancy restaurant. Whether the food was good or bad, I can't remember. All I know is that on that day in particular, it was raining. On the slippery roads, my mother was supposed to drive. As she turned a foggy corner, she was hit by a drunk driver who didn't react in time to stop. She died then, on my birthday, and I couldn't accept it. It sounds like a scene out of How I Met Your Mother.
I feel like we remember that show very differently.
So I did something horrible, and changed it. That's the day I learned the true curse of my condition. I did everything I could to convince my mother not to go. I begged her to stay at home, threatened that I wouldn't show up for my own birthday if she as much as set a foot outside the house. Thanks to my tantrum, my mother agreed to stay at home. She was smart enough to know something terrible was about to happen and didn't press the matter any further. We spent the evening watching a movie, mindless fun for someone unable to remember the plot, but I was ecstatic nonetheless. I thought I had changed the course of history. My mother never left the house, and as a result, she was never hit by the drunk driver. But the funny thing about fate, there's nothing that can stop it. In the end, my efforts were fruitless because she was supposed to die. That night, her soul, spirit, essence, whatever the hell you want to call it, vanished. Her time had come, and though I had hindered the death of her physical body, she was taken away from me. It wasn't until the next morning before I noticed something was wrong. I found her sitting at the edge of her bed, unresponsive and catatonic. None of the doctors could explain it, as all her vitals appeared fine. Despite being physically healthy, she was just gone. I learned that day that I cannot save anyone who falls victim to the cruel judgment of destiny. In the end, whenever I tried, it only made things worse. The worst part, that since I never actually experienced her death, The worst part is that since I never actually experienced her death as it was supposed to happen, it's the only memory of my past I still remember. Though it doesn't match up with reality, in my mind she was hit by the drunk driver, but according to every available document, she spent her final years in a coma.
only dying once her body finally gave out. By the time of my mother's death, my girlfriend had known about my curse for years and took it upon herself to take over the task of recording my life. Each event, important or minor, was jotted down in the same notebook that my mother had carried around for so many years. To this day, I don't know what I've done to deserve such an amazing woman, despite my complicated life. She still loved me. It was odd, though, having known each other since children. As she got to know me, I was starting to forget her. I guess it helped having grown up side by side with my secret. That's the only way she could possibly understand, to see beyond it to who I truly am. Then, as we first met, I knew we'd end up married one day, or... Fuck. Huh? We're at 100?
60. I said even then.
Even then, as we first met, I knew we'd end up married one day. Of course I did. I had every single memory stored in my mind. Maybe that fact allowed me to act more confident than I truly was, or maybe destiny played a hand in our pairing. I don't know. But by the time we entered an age where crushes became an acceptable fact, we quickly started dating. Together we shared all of our firsts, though I don't remember any of them. I can recall the feelings connected to each event. I love her with all of my heart despite losing some of the memories I have of her for each passing day. Which brings us to the present day. Tonight, we won't be able to sleep. She won't know why, but something will irk her mind. Instead, we'll stay up late, talking and reminiscing about times long since past. I won't crack, I won't cry, and I won't let her know what's about to happen. She'll just write her final entry into my book, and then we'll fall asleep in each other's arms. I can't prevent her death, lest I want her to suffer the same fate as my mother, and once she's gone, there will be none left to continue my story. Each day will pass as it always has, and I'll forget. Doomed to wander this world alone, I can do nothing save wait for my eventual death. That's why I'm writing this now, as my wife sleeps beside me. I need the world to know what I can't. I need someone to remember my story, to remember that I once walked this path. I don't regret my life because despite all odds, it was a happy one. It was filled with love, and despite my memory being lost, I know there will... It's not me, it's the grammar. It was filled with love, and despite my memory being lost, I know there will be a trace of my presence rippling through time itself. Life is not a certainty. Don't treat it like tomorrow is a given. It might never come. Thank you. That's by Richard Saxon.
That one's really good. It reminds me of like a mixture of The Curious Case of Benjamin Button and River Song's storyline.
Oh, yeah,
except that like for whatever reason, like as you pass events that you knew were going to happen, you forget them.
Have you ever watched The Time Traveler's Wife?
No, I haven't. I know the plot.
That one's depressing as
What I watched was the Rachel McAdams interview on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. And she basically described the entire fucking movie.
What?
Because she loved the movie so much. She was so excited to talk about it. And then she started like whispering details. And like she has a microphone on so everyone could hear it. And at some point, Jon Stewart's like, you don't have to tell us everything, right? But she like really enjoyed the movie. So yeah, I know what it's about. But because like they're just like misaligned in time. And he meets her like in different points. And...
Right. He meets her like when she's a kid and stuff like that. And because he's constantly traveling and he's never like in the same timeline as her.
He never moves in a linear direction as we would think of it.
So he disappears randomly.
Right.
And she just accepts that he disappears because she's met him when she was a kid, and so it's just like all this weird shit. It's depressing and I hate it, but that's what it reminds me of for sure.
Right on. Either way, it's a good story and I enjoyed it.
Thanks.
All right, let's read stream chats. And we're just going to wrap things up. We don't have marbles to do. I mean, how about this? Me and Robin will rock, paper, scissors, best 5 out of 9.
5 out of 9? For what?
Because it's the end of the show and we don't have 2 races to do. And you know what? We can open up the tables and let people vote on who they think's going to win.
God, okay.
This sounds like fun.
This sounds awful and stupid.
I don't know why it's either of those things aside from you being a poopy pants that has pants full of poop.
Pants.
No, I'm fun and you suck.
Yes.
All right. You smell this wonderful sweater that I'm wearing. Get your fucking leg over. He's a lazy fucking bum. All right, let's see where we left off. Pink Penguin says, I just restarted my Babysitter's Club collection. Captain Big Eye says, I got all my books from the local library. Oh my fucking god, dude. My parents didn't let me buy any books, which is probably why I hoard books now. IMB Trainer says, is it wrong that I'm loving how my friend's cat freaks out when I make the laser light disappear in his fur? That's so fun to do. Captain Vegas says, not at all. Captain Vegas says, cats exist to be little assholes, so we should kind of be assholes back a little bit to them. I will say, the cat I babysat when I was in high school / college, first year of college, was the biggest asshole of any pet I've ever had. And then our current cat, like, she loves us so much, but she can be an asshole to other people, which I am totally okay with. All right, keep scrolling here. Chunk says, I've never seen VeggieTales. I grew up watching classic Tom and Jerry. I also used to watch a lot of Tom and Jerry.
That was like Cartoon Network or whatever in the morning.
IMB Trans says, none of my cats have ever been assholes. Wow, you have like the best luck with cats. And this cat prefers to hide and keep to himself, but is also quite lovely. Chunk says, I never knew all the dirty adult jokes. It's comical. Pink Penguin says, I hardly ever got new books when I was a kid. They were usually library books or from thrift stores / garage sales. What's wrong with me? I, too, am also a hoarder of books now that I have money. IMB Trans says, when the light disappears in his fur, he seems to panic like, where the hell did it go? And will attack his own fur and spastically search all around him. That's funny. Brian says, where will she be buried, Robin? Tucson? Captain Fake Eye says, Watson is very sweet most of the time, but sometimes he is a little asshole. Liz Tree said, the story is depressing. I would hate to live that way. Captain Vegas says he likes to watch you and then bat something off the table. Yeah, the whole eye contact while they scooch something is something that I'm so happy Arya does not do.
Yeah.
But she does chew cords.
Queen Ethne says my cat wiped her ass on the bathroom floor today. Gross. I remember I had a cat. Oh my god, he was such a dickhead. I would go to the bathroom in the morning, and one morning he came in and sat on the rug in front of me and started peeing while I was going to the bathroom. And I was like, what the... I was like, stop it. Like, I was like, stop it. And then I pushed the rug over, so it smacked him in the face, and he just kept going. I'm like, what are you doing, you little monster? Oh my gosh. I'm like, I get it. Support. I'm going, you're going. It's a whole thing, but like, gross.
It's so funny. MB Train says, the closest I had to a little asshole was my Pixie. After my back surgery during the initial 4 weeks following, she liked to trampoline bounce off my stomach when I was laying down on my back. It's like they don't know any better, but still, it's like, don't fucking do that. IMB Train says, but to be honest, she was also one of my sweetest cats. She seemed to know when I was stressed out and would massage my head and play with my hair to calm me down.
Cute.
Faye says, yes, as much as I joke, Watson is lovely and likes to comfort me. He's been laying on top of me as a weighted blanket to help me sleep. That's adorable. IMB Train says, a few days before she died of cancer, we had a windstorm come through during the night, and she laid on my pillow next to my ear and purred to keep me calm and help me go to sleep.
Let's see. Bunny Cake says I'm having lunch with senior citizens. Nice. Lots of people are having problems with Twitch. Some are not having problems with Twitch.
Listener says, glad I'm not having issues with Twitch tonight, which is so weird. Our neighborhood cat recently tried to get in through the dog door and scared the shit out of me. Faye says, we have so many strays. Queen Ethne says, my mom took in a stray, and then he brought his pregnant girlfriend. She had 5 kittens. She kept 3, and the other 2 got adopted by the vet. 1 kitten ran away or got lost, though. Sad face.
Sherry says I have to get ready for my follow-up with the cancer doctor tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Good luck at your appointment tomorrow.
Good night. Good luck. Liz Matrice says, I just realized Twitch didn't give any of the stream points tonight, at least for me. That's weird. Ultra Rage says, but it's all about Zaboomafoo. I don't know how Zaboomafoo connects to any of these. Chunk said, just got home. Work is always busy after the holidays and snowstorms, and it's past 11 p.m. Arya likes to walk on me if I try to sleep in, is what my mom said. Hello, Mom. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Chunk said, hi, Spooky Mom. And my mom said, hi, back. All right, I'm going to see if I can get this to work. What I would like to do is...
But there's no points.
Start a prediction.
So weird.
How can I change this? Summary?
Start prediction.
But we'll start the one that's already up there?
No, I think you have to do a new one.
Start prediction. All right, here we go. Name the prediction. Shit, this is the wrong keyboard. Ugh. Please don't lock.
It's off.
It's not funny, dude. I've had nothing but fucking problems today. Who will win RPS? Question mark. Outcome 1, Adam. Outcome 2, Robin. Submission period. We'll give you guys 2 minutes to vote.
2 minutes till 8:10.
Start. Got it.
8:11.
All right. So go ahead and right now, if you're in Twitch, vote on who you think is going to win, me or Robin. We're doing rock, paper, scissors, best 5 out of 9.
I'm going to win. I always win.
That is not true at all.
It's true most of the time.
No, it's like 50-50 at most.
No.
Yup.
It's more like 70-30, and you're the 30.
You're full of shit.
No.
So full of shit. All right, prediction. Who will win RPS? I'm putting all my money on me. Otherwise, it'd be weird. And I'm putting all my points. 7454. Predict Adam.
All 7,000 points?
Yeah.
You're nuts.
Boom. Oh, fuck.
Oh, my jeez.
Well, it looks like everyone else is voting very low numbers.
Why?
Because I have a 96% towards me now. And here's the thing. It pays out based off the percentages. So it's paying out for every 1 point you vote with, you'll get 2.45. Okay, the numbers are starting to balance out. Someone just put in a vote there. That's pretty impressive. Queen Effany, highest voter for Robin, 4.9. I have 3 total voters, which is nice to see. Will it show me all the statistics so I know who I can hate?
What? Jesus, he spent so much.
I mean, I don't spend them on literally anything ever, so. All right, Scriptry voted for me too. All right.
Wow.
Queen Effany.
Oh, yeah.
Ginseng Joe, Glitch, IMB Trainer, Viv, Nefcore, and Laura Ann have all voted for Robin. People are dead to me. Keep your voting going. This is fun. I like this, actually.
All right, 5 out of 9. That's a lot. Okay. Oh,
it goes so fast, dude. It's almost over.
All right. Cool.
All right, we are locked in right now.
Okay, babe.
Hang on. Eight people? Brian said I predict a Robin win. Chunk says I have to predict a tie. I don't think we can tie. Glitch says this is pre-rigged? How is it pre-rigged? All right. So, we shoot on 3. Like, it's Rochambeau. That's how we do it.
Okay.
You can do it differently if you want.
Okay.
So.
Shoot on 3.
As always. 1, 2, shoot.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, shit. No, shit.
Okay, it's 4-3. I'm 4, she's 3.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Fuck! Oh! She came back and beat me! You sons of bitches who believe in her!
I'm a winner!
Fucking balls.
You're welcome to everybody who won points, and Adam lost all 7,000 of his
I lost
points.
all my points. Every fucking one. Literally says, dang, I couldn't vote. I just had to say something about not having issues with Twitch. Ginseng Joe says, Robin's been such a troll. I feel like she's going to steal a victory. You totally fucking predicted what was going to happen.
Not everyone can be a winner.
Queen Effany says, oh my god, that was fast. Yeah, we go quick. Ginseng Joe
always,
says, LMAO.
We always do it when someone has to go do something.
Yeah, if we both don't want to get up, we do rock, paper, scissors to figure it out. Lister says,
right.
This definitely made it for no marbles. Laura Ann says, that was so fast. How do you even keep track? I think we both just counted in our heads. It's a lot easier when you do like 2 out of 3, you know? Queen Effany says, hell yes, LOL, I'm glad I spent all my points on Robin. I respect Queen Effany because they bet so much, but fuck everyone else. Scriptry says, again.
No, man.
That was intense.
We got tacos.
Yeah, we have food waiting for us. So, all right, it's 8:13, y'all. Thank you for joining us. We're gonna move into the outro now, and then hopefully next week.
What do you win if I won?
Points. Anyone who voted.
Do you get double your points?
It'll tell you the payout right there. For every 1 point voted, they got 2.35 in payout.
Oh,
because
shit.
They were the underdogs. So that's why when it was like 99-1, I was like, anyone who has points in here is gonna make so much. All right, so next week it'll probably be the same camera. We might have it like adjusted slightly, but hopefully we'll have things a little bit better off. So we'll see how that goes, but fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. Gonna mark it and move into the outro. All right, I think that's everything that we have for this episode of Pastatime. So thank you to everyone who listened and to everyone who watched live over at twitch.tv/Scaryish Podcast and youtube.com/Scaryish. You can also watch us on facebook.com/Scaryish Podcast. If you ever want to catch us live, it's Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. If you have a story that you have written, or if you have a story that you've read that's fictional and you would like to suggest it to be on Pastatime, feel free to reach out to us by emailing pastatime@scaryish.com. We would love to hear from you. Or you can hit us up on any of our social medias. As I mentioned, Facebook is facebook.com/Scaryish Podcast. Twitter is @ScarishPod. And Instagram is @Scaryish Podcast. We would love to hear from you. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/Scaryish Podcast. Those are monthly donations to your start at $1. Or you can go to ko-fi.com/Scaryish Podcast, and those are one-time donations.
Yeah. Either way, thank you so much for everyone who supports us in every way, shape, and form. We sincerely appreciate you. You all are amazing, and that's everything that we have. So thank you so much for spending your day with us, or your evening, or whenever it was that you listened to it. We appreciate you. But that's everything we have. So I guess, Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
All right. Oh, sorry.